She smiled at him kindly as she took him in her hand again, stroking slowly. Then my opinion is that we shouldn't try to fix something that isn't broken. I know it was jarring to try something new, but it is clearly working really well for us. So this time let's commit to continuing for another week. It will give us more time to decide that these 2 days have not been a fluke. But I don't think it is a fluke. I'm so confident that I'll promise to quit this business if you don't also think our teamwork is flourishing after another week. That sounds reasonable, right? Numbly, he nodded and saw her eyebrows rise briefly before quickly saying, yes, Her voice was mesmerizing, her touch transformative. Truthfully, of course, he might have said anything to make her happy when her hands were so close to him. But there was also a deeper part of him, which he was only vaguely aware of, that felt more content and cared for over the last few days than he had in a long time. He sighed, embarrassed by this strange arrangement, but not completely unhappy with it. She was nodding and smiling. She patted his penis gently, and said, then let's put that away for now. She wrinkled her eyebrows, noting that it might be difficult to tuck him in. She wiped his bottom, shook a little more powder on him, then pressed his penis up to his belly and pulled his boxers up over it. That will have to do for now, I suppose. Those things can be so troublesome, she murmured to herself, though she was also thinking how easy those things made getting what she wanted. Okay, sit up. His face flushed, breathing a little heavily, he paused a second, then nodded and sat up. That was an abrupt and unwelcome end to what he had presumed would be a bit more climactic. But Julie was all business again, so while he briefly considered protesting, he suspected it wouldn't make a difference, and could wind up making him seem pathetic. Instead, he should be professional. He took a deep breath and stood up. He stared down and noticed that his boxers tented out in front of him. She glanced over at him, smiling a bit at his predicament, then went to the sink to wash her hands. He leaned over quickly and pulled up his khakis, working at getting them fastened over his erection. Once he had, he looked more presentable. Okay, well, thanks for all your work today, as usual. It was a good day, he said awkwardly, trying to regain his dignity. He started gathering up his things, putting away his laptop and mouse. She went to her purse. She nodded thoughtfully. Yes, it was, she said, glancing up at him. It certainly was. Thank you for being so considerate to me. I can't tell you how much it means to be done so early and able to see my little ones. He walked her out, grateful that he was finally dressed normally and talking to her like he might any other staff member. This felt like a more appropriate work situation, surely, than being diapered or naked in her presence. It was a relief. As they walked the short distance to their cars, which were parked at the far end of the practice's parking lot, Julie said, my mother takes care of the kids during the day. But she must also see to my dad as well, so I like to relieve her as soon as I can. After a day with the kids, she'll be happy to see me so early. She reached her car and paused for a moment. She suddenly leaned over and pecked him on the cheek. You're our hero, you know. He nodded, surprised. Well, I'm glad it worked out so well. He realized he was blushing as he unlocked his car. He was flattered and touched, but didn't know what else to say. See you tomorrow? She smiled. You bet. Thanks again for being so thoughtful. I think we make a great team. Have a nice evening. She got into her car and thought more about how this relationship was going. He seemed more and more receptive to her being in charge. That opened up all sorts of possibilities.